Elon Musk might have said he was leaving Washington behind, but it is now clear that he is so unhappy with Republicans' mega bill to advance the president's agenda. He is so unhappy that he wants to start over. Musk wrote this on his platform, formerly known as Twitter, this afternoon. Quote, "A new spending bill should be drafted that doesn't massively grow the deficit and increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. End quote. He followed that up with a much more straightforward message, quote, "Kill the bill." This morning, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office announced that the House bill would add $2.4 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years, the deficit, and that seems to be the source of Musk's frustration. In just the last day, Musk has called the Trump agenda bill massive, outrageous, pork-filled, disgusting, and an abomination. And all of these tweets clearly blindsided the Republicans who just spent months working on a bill that barely passed the House.
Elon and I had a great conversation, about a half-hour-long talk on Monday this week. It was a very friendly, very fruitful conversation together. And he and I talked about the midterm elections. And he said, well, I'm going to help. And then yesterday, 24 hours later, he does a 180 and he comes out and opposes the bill. And it surprised me, frankly. And I don't take it personal. We don't take it personal. Policy differences are not personal. I think he's flat wrong.
Slightly flustered Speaker of the House right there. So Republicans are surprised, you could see it really on his face, to hear that Musk is not on board with this big, beautiful bill. They're probably not happy with his vow to fire anyone who votes for it in the next election. He does have an awful lot of money to put behind that particular threat. But here's a big question. Do the Senate Republicans, who are now the ones that are going to have to move this bill forward, do they actually care what Elon Musk thinks?
Entitled to his opinion. He's frustrated. I think he believes, in my judgment correctly, that we're quickly becoming debt slaves.
He certainly has the right and ability to say what he will about it.
I think people listen to what he has to say, as they should. He's a really smart guy.
I don't think it changed any views in the Republican Party in the Senate.
He looks at it a different way than we have to look at it, because, again, we're the ones that have to vote for it.
Like I said, I can't respond to platitudes. That's all I saw in a tweet that I had summarized to me.
Okay, so Speaker Johnson weighed in, Senate Republicans giving their thoughts. So we were all eager to see, right? Weren't you, how Donald Trump might respond to Musk's tweets? So for most of today, the response from the president looked like this. Let's put it up. Here it is. So until this afternoon, the president hadn't said or posted anything about the man who called his big, beautiful bill a disgusting abomination. We'll show you in a second how that is usually not how he operates. But as we were getting ready for this show, President Trump did put something up. He posted a screen grab, so he didn't say anything himself, just posted the screen grab of the tweet that Musk sent last week when he left Doge. And of course, in that tweet, Elon Musk says he's leaving, and he thanks President Trump. I think this might be the definition of a subtweet, but I also might be too old to be using that phrase correctly. So we're going to check in with the panel on that in just a second. But let's start with CNN's Manu Raju, who is live for us on Capitol Hill. Manu, my big question here, do lawmakers care about what Elon Musk has to say here? Because obviously there was a period where they did. I mean, this isn't the first time Musk it wouldn't be the first time, I should say, that Musk has scrambled what was going on legislatively. There was a period some months ago where Mike Johnson was taking all sorts of incoming and they were going back and forth on text. But obviously Musk has been kind of shown the door, albeit graciously, but still shown the door by President Trump.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of frustration among Republicans, particularly ones who supported this in the House. Remember, at the time, Elon Musk was not raising those concerns about the deficit. That didn't really come out until yesterday, the comment from Elon Musk. So very much surprising, blindsiding Republican members who told me that they are frustrated with Elon Musk handling of this and really putting them in a difficult spot. Now, the other question is, will it actually impact the vote counting in the Senate? And there's really not a clear indication that it really will. There had already been concerns that members had raised about a whole wide variety of issues. On one side, how deep of cuts to seek on Medicaid in particular. That's something that some folks on the right flank of the Senate GOP wanted deeper cuts because they are aligned themselves with Musk's concerns about the impact on the federal deficit. The Congressional Budget Office today estimating roughly $2.4 trillion impact on deficits over the next decade. And then there are folks on the more moderate side of the Senate GOP and House GOP who are really worried about the cuts going too deep and want to pare back the phase out of some of these green energy tax credits that are being called for in this bill. So those concerns still remain regardless of what Elon Musk is saying here. And the vote counting is still the same too. John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, can only afford to lose 3 Republican votes on a bill that's expected to go along party lines. And they are moving furiously behind the scenes to try to lock down support, try to weigh members' concerns from everyone from the people like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul on the right flank of the conference who say that they will oppose this bill, to more moderate members like Senator Lisa Murkowski who are worried about the impacts on their states because of those budget cuts. And just moments ago, members from the Senate Finance Committee, Republican members, just left from the Capitol to the White House to meet with Donald Trump to try to cobble together and see if they can come to any sort of consensus with the president, because they want this passed out of the Senate by the end of this month on the president's desk by July 4th. And to do that, major differences need to be resolved.
Yeah, they sure do. Manu, as we discussed yesterday, busy summer ahead for you. Thank you very much for that reporting. And our panel joins us now. CNN contributor, New York Times journalist, podcast host Lulu Garcia-Navarro, staff writer for The Atlantic, David Frum, CNN political commentator, Sochi Hinojosa, and CNN senior political commentator, Scott Jennings. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Scott, you're back for another day of this. One of the reasons why it's been, you have an interesting perspective on this is because you did recently talk to Elon Musk one-on-one. And you came on yesterday and said that you weren't surprised that Elon Musk was upset about this. But the question is, what does the White House think about this? Because, again, so let's put up how long it usually takes President Trump to criticize someone who criticizes him. Let's go to June 3rd, where Rand Paul appears on CNBC at 9:18 a.m. to criticize the bill. And Trump on Truth Social at 9:18 a.m. trashes Rand Paul over it. Go back to May 4th, 9:20 p.m. Karl Rove appears on Fox News with Trey Gowdy. 10:31 p.m. Donald Trump has tweeted criticizing Karl Rove for criticizing him. So, Scott, I mean, this is a muted response from Donald Trump, but this is a big, threat to his agenda.
Well, first of all, they're friends. They get along. Elon Musk had a lot to do with President Trump winning last year and has been a big part of the administration. I don't think there's any reason to go out and trash an ally like Elon Musk.
Well, he's not acting like an ally at the moment.
Well, he has a difference of opinion about this one issue, and that's okay.
In fairness, these people did too. I mean, Rand Paul has the same difference of opinion, actually, on the deficit.
But what the White House and the congressional leadership believe is that this opinion that Elon has formed and some others is based on faulty scoring from the CBO. They just have a different point of view about this. And at the end of the day, this is the president's agenda. He ran on making the tax cuts permanent, welfare reform, and border security. That is the core of this bill. And I think all Republicans want to cut spending. All Republicans want to get the debt and deficit under control. But this is how the president won the election. The national popular vote, the electoral college, tax cuts, welfare reform, border security. This is the vehicle for that, and I don't think failure is an option.
That's a good spin, but this is a problem, and the reason it's a problem is because Elon Musk, what was so beneficial to Trump and what has been so beneficial to the GOP is that Elon Musk has this huge bullhorn, right? It's not only that he's the richest man in the world and gives a lot of money, but he has this megaphone, and people like him. The people that follow Trump, but the people that follow Trump, the people that follow Trump like him. I'm not saying writ large. I'm saying that there are Elon Musk stands, and so if he's coming out against this, that causes a problem with the constituencies in Congress. These are their voters who might take a second look at this and not like it, and that's where the problem lies.
Well, and also, I mean, it's the other problem with this is that the midterm elections are coming up, and We have seen that Republicans are not favored to win when they control everything to win the midterm elections. And Elon Musk is someone who can open his checkbook and write to these candidates. But instead, his message right now has been, well, anyone who voted for this bill, they should be held accountable. Does that mean that these members of Congress, is he saying that they should face primaries? So it sounds to me like the Republican Party is facing somewhat of a crisis.